From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, this week, Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance kicked off 3 weeks of summer spotlight camps, the first of which focused its spotlight on dance. Ryan Renfro has the story.
This week's Summer Spotlight gives a look into the world of dance and creative movement as Troy University faculty share the importance of self-expression and storytelling through dance.
This is just a really good way for them to use their imaginations, get in touch with their bodies. They're young, they're growing, and so anytime you can get them to be coordinated or be creative with the use of their bodies, it's always going to help them. We do a lot of exploring and a lot of creative activities to get their imaginations firing too, which is always really a good thing. They're in a group, so we do a lot of team building activities. We do a lot of partner work, so they learn about sharing with other people and collaborating with ideas.
Averett says the dancers learn a variety of dance techniques in preparation for their showcase performance on Friday.
Every day we come in and we start with modern and contemporary, musical theater and jazz, hip-hop dance, and they're going through sort of the evolution of hip-hop and how it came to be. Improvisation, where they create their own dances and work together. So they're doing a contemporary piece, they're doing a musical theater piece, and they're doing a hip-hop piece.
And the campers aren't the only ones learning. Averett says it is beneficial to the Troy University student volunteers as well.
And then for our student teachers, it's really good for them because they're getting some teaching experience. And a lot of them might wind up teaching one day, and this is their first foray into teaching. So it's good for them too.
Ryan Renfro, Troy TrojanVision News.
There are 2 more weeks of summer spotlights. Next week's will focus on drama. And Troy University named its top employee of the quarter this week. Sherry Carruthers-Zeibel was named the winner of the Virgil Parks McKinley Award. She's an enrollment specialist for Global Campus at Troy's Clarksville, Tennessee site. The award was presented Wednesday morning at a ceremony in the Hall of Honor. The McKinley Award is the highest honor Troy gives to a non-faculty staff member.
Sherry's been with the Clarksville site for approximately 6 years, and she has been a stellar employee. All of the students love working with her. She's the reason we get so many referrals. I mean, time and time again, I will come into the office and have a student or a prospect call or stop by and say, you know, someone told me to come in here and talk to Sherry. She's well deserving of this honor.
It's definitely an honor because a lot of times out in Global Campus we don't feel like people recognize who we are, and we work really hard out there, but we're not on main campus. We don't have a lot of contact down here, and so to be recognized for something that I love doing is truly an honor, definitely.
As a McKinley Award winner, Carruthers-Zeibel received an engraved clock and a $1,000 stipend. And after a 1-day weather delay, residents got the chance to see the skies lit up like the 4th of July on the 5th of July. The city of Troy held their annual Independence Day fireworks show Sunday night at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Folks from all over settled in at the stadium and the surrounding area to get a glimpse of the big show in the skies above Charles Henderson High School. The show was delayed a day due to rain in the area on Saturday night, but skies cleared up for the show to go on Sunday night. And we'll see more of that big display at the end of the show. And soccer has experienced a surge in popularity due to the U.S. women's team winning the World Cup last weekend. Some local kids are putting their best foot forward to learn soccer skills in a camp this week in Troy. William McCarthy gives us a look.
The British Soccer Challenge is here in Troy to teach soccer players how to play the beautiful game and teaches kids how to pass, shoot, and dribble.
So we're just teaching them sort of to get familiar with the soccer ball, making sure that they're all having plenty of fun running around and just getting used to sort of the basic fundamentals of the sport as much as possible.
With the recent World Cup win by the U.S. women's national team, the number of campers have grown throughout the camp.
I think because of the kids on the Monday morning came in cheering and everything, so it gets them want to do soccer more knowing that USA won the World Cup, and it's good for Britain because we don't do very good in sports, so we did good in the World Cup.
Not only the kids get to have fun and exercise, the parents got to show their inner kids at heart. One parent says the coaches are great to work with and what her feelings are about the camp.
I think it's great. I think the coach, Stewart, is a saint to to work with 3-year-olds for an hour and a half. It's a lot like herding kittens. But he's doing an awesome job. He's patient, and I think they're having a great time.
What do these kids love about playing soccer?
Kicking the ball.
Kicking the ball?
Not putting the ball down.
Not putting the ball down? William McCarthy, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
With over 50 participants, organizers say this is one of the biggest groups ever for the Challenger Camp here in Troy. And we'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll see how 2 weeks of Chinese language and culture turns into a surprise lunchtime musical number. You won't want to miss it right after this.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Troy University's Startalk is wrapping up its second week of teaching students about Chinese language and culture. And as the camp gets closer to its end, the students are fine-tuning all they have learned. Austin Cofield has the story.
The 2-week Chinese language and culture teaching program called Startalk is now in its second and final week. Throughout the program, participants are split into different groups and are all taught differently depending on the amount of experience they've had in languages, cultures, and activities. One group is comprised of current or future teachers that are focused more on learning teaching techniques.
Those teachers come from several states in the U.S., and however, they are not really trained as professional teachers at K-12 or higher education in the United States. So most of them, 90% of them are native speakers, but however, they don't quite familiar with the U.S. teaching theories and the practice. So they need to be trained before they really serve at U.S. American University or K-12 classrooms.
But with participants gathered from all kinds of different states, not everyone is at the teaching level. The other groups are composed of students with varying amounts of experience, but have all come to learn something new and make some new friends.
I've really enjoyed it. I've never been put in an educational camp for especially this long, which is 2 weeks. So being here and learning Chinese throughout the whole entire day, it's different, but it's enjoyable because I really like learning the Chinese language.
Not everything is just about learning and taking notes, however. Startalk is also providing a chance for participants to have a little fun by learning culture through different activities. At the end of the program, the Startalk participants will put on a performance based on what they've learned over the 2 weeks.
We're all kind of doing different ones. Some people are doing like a lion dance. I'm doing something specifically called Tai Chi Fan. So you get like a fan and you open it and stuff, and it makes really loud noises. So that's been fun for me.
Austin Cofield, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And Startalk is a camp designed to teach Americans about Chinese language and culture, but there's a part of the camp designed for people who already know the language. Austin Cofield explains.
One of the main focuses of the program called Startalk is to teach students from several different states about Chinese language and culture. Alongside those that are brand new to the language and culture, there's another class for Startalk participants who are there to learn how to teach others themselves. Dr. Liu is one of the guest professors who had the opportunity to share her wisdom with the current or future professors and teachers.
I'm teaching a couple of courses here for the teacher training program here. One is quality teaching and classroom management, what to teach and how to teach. And my second topic for my lecture today is how to teach Chinese characters with untraditional way, with a focus on teaching, listening, speaking, reading, writing, typing, and translating Chinese characters. And I have been teaching Chinese to American students for over 20 years, actually 25 years. And I think, and also published several books in teaching and learning Chinese.
Many of the participants engaging in Liu's class are teachers already, but they still feel that the materials they learn through Startalk are beneficial to not just them, but their students as well.
I teach elementary school students Chinese, and it's about 180 students. And I teach them the basic Chinese language skills, and also I teach Chinese culture to them. I feel it is great now. Yeah. Well, I made so many experienced Chinese teachers.
It's a very good program, not only beneficial for the participants, teachers and students, but it's a good way to promote the university.
Austin Cofield, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And for the past 2 weeks, those students have been learning about Chinese language and culture. However, Wednesday afternoon, the campers had a fun and surprising way to show off what they learned. Once again, here's Startalk correspondent Austin Cofield.
For most people, this is the average kind of view you would get when you went to lunch at the dining center on campus. But visitors today received a pleasant surprise mid-meal when several Startalk participants broke out and danced in the middle of the facility. Startalk is a program that helps teach Chinese language and culture to students and teachers through a variety of activities. But today, they brought their presentation to the dance floor.
小苹果 is a very popular song in China, and I've heard it a couple times. The teachers here love it, and they taught it to me, and they made up this dance, and we flash mobbed at the cafeteria.
What just happened is just a reflection of what we do. We come here to study, we come here to learn more from each other, to learn more from the teacher, to learn more from the students, and have fun at the same time.
Flash mobs are what you would call a group of people that randomly put on a performance in a seemingly normal everyday environment. While some flash mobs take weeks to coordinate, Startalk participants put theirs together in just under 2 weeks while in between class sessions.
This is probably our, I would say, only five, 6 time repeating this routine, and you can see we're pretty good. And we're not dancing majors, none of us have any experience at all.
The flash mob is the first time we did that because the students, they are so creative and so that they really want to show impact students from, and also the parents and what's going on Troy University.
The flash mob was planned to take place as a group of impact students and their parents came by the dining center for a bite to eat. The event caught them by surprise, as well as current students at Troy University who had no idea about what was about to take place.
It was pretty cool. It was exciting. It was unexpected. I was just eating my food, and all of a sudden I hear this music playing and a whole bunch of people dancing, so it was pretty cool.
I felt like that people here found that it was part of a home, that it was part of a family, and they were not, afraid or embarrassed to express themselves and show a fun side of what college life is all about. Yeah.
Austin Cofield, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Some of what the students showed off at the flash mob will be included in their closing ceremony this Saturday. We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll hear some offerings from our friends at Troy Public Radio. So don't touch that dial.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah. That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Each week we take some time to hear some of the work done by our broadcast partners at Troy Public Radio. As we do each week, we'll get another sample of Talk of Troy, the student-produced newscast of Troy Public Radio. Let's take a listen.
It's the Talk of Troy. Voices and sounds from the campuses of Troy University. I'm Brittany Thompson. In the summer, Troy's theater department becomes the training ground for a new generation of performers, and producer Jesse McLone has the story.
Troy University will shine a light on drama and dance this month for its Summer Spotlight programs. Tori Lee Averett, the program's director, says students are going to be busy.
They do stage crafts, creative drama, creative movement, storytelling, and then we put together a showcase at the end of the week, and this year we're doing a Disney Kids production.
Students will learn to express themselves in many ways through drama and movement.
So the Spotlight on Dance Camp is for ages 8 through 12, and it's just a look into the world of storytelling and communication through movement.
Summer Spotlight offers different programs, one for ages 4 through 13 and another for college-age students. More information is at troytheater.org. For the Talk of Troy, I am Jesse McGlone.
Last week, the Rosa Parks Museum played host to some very distinguished guests from the world of Little League Baseball. The Philadelphia Youth Organization's Monarchs team, including star pitcher Monet Davis.
They didn't let the celebrity of it go to their heads. They were really interested in what was going on. You know, they asked questions and got involved in it, and that was really good to see.
That's Donald Basil, the scheduler for the museum. She says the team was visiting as part of their 23-day, 21-city civil rights tour.
We're hoping that the exposure from the Little League visit will encourage other school groups, not just fourth graders, but others as well, to visit the museum.
Basil says that the team went for a ride in the Cleveland Avenue Time Machine, a popular attraction in the children's wing of the museum. I'm Brittany Thompson, and you've been listening to The Talk of Troy, a production of Troy Public Radio.
Throughout the week, Troy Public Radio can be heard on 89.9 in Troy and Montgomery, 88.7 in Dothan, and 91.7 in Phoenix City. Well, it's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll learn about this year's Common Reader for incoming freshmen. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Look at me, hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Every year, Troy University selects a book for all of its incoming freshmen to read during their first year at Troy. In this week's Trojan Talk, we learn about this year's Common Reader. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be talking about this year's Common Reader. My guest today is Elaine Bassett with the Writing Center at Troy University. And welcome to Trojan Talk today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
And we're talking about this year's Common Reader.
Yes.
Before we get into the book and what it's about, let's talk a little about the Common Reader and what it means to Troy University.
The Common Reader actually came out of our QEP, our Quality Enhancement Program for our SACS accreditation, but it's an element that has stayed with us. What we do is each year choose one book that all of our incoming students will be reading. And then we have all kinds of discussion groups to talk about the book, and it's discussed in lots of different subject areas, so that the students first have a sense of community with it, but also because the university realizes the importance of reading to education, we try to pull a book in that we think will engage students and that they will read and get engaged in, and then learn to apply a lot of the concepts they're going to read about in the book.
And in reference to the common reader, you hear a lot about creating a culture of reading. And Hal Fulmer, that's one of his favorite terms he throws around.
Yes.
But it's important to get these students to start reading and know how important it is, right?
Well, it is very important. Reading is the door to the world. That's how you can find about anything. So we want to hook students when they come in, just to let them know how important it is to their education. If you can't travel to Spain, the next best thing is reading about it. If you can't go back to the 16th century, you can read about it. It opens the window to lots of worlds, and we want our students to become engaged in that.
And of course, different genres as well. And this is the book we're going to talk about may open their eyes to a different genre. Students who are used to reading fiction books, we have a nonfiction work to share. Let's talk about the book and talk about how that's going to fit in. So.
This year's book is a memoir, and it's a topic that that's very relevant today. And I hate to even have to admit that, but it's called A Long Way Gone: Memoirs of a Boy Soldier. And this is the story of a young man from Sierra Leone. When he was 12, his village was destroyed by rebels. And he then was on his own. He lost all his family, lost his home, lost everything at 12. He wanders with some of his friends for about a year, going from village to village, burned out village to burned out village, just trying to live. And then when he's 13, he is drafted, you might say, in the government military at 13, and spends 2 years fighting the rebels. And I think this is a child, and the things he has to do. Part of the book is very difficult to read because we're seeing what war is like through a 13-year-old's eyes. The one thing that makes this particular book and this author, for me, so impressive is that he never loses hope in this book. And doesn't spoil the ending, but he is eventually rescued by UNICEF and is rehabilitated, and they find family for him to live with. He eventually is able to come to New York and speak to the United Nations about what could be done about the child soldiers in his country, and to make them aware of just how prevalent the practice is of using children in military.
And as I said, open their eyes to maybe a genre that they're not used to, but it seems like it's going to open maybe some students' eyes to a problem that they may not be aware of.
Yes, in fact, I consider myself fairly well read, but I was not as familiar with the situation or with this particular problem until I read this. And now I've just, read everything I could get my hands on. Where is this all taking place? What can we do about it? What steps are being taken? And as a matter of fact, the author, Ishmael Bea, works still as an activist to eliminate the practice of using children in military, and so he is still involved. He lives in the United States now, goes college education in the United States. Very bright young man, very articulate and intelligent. But as I said, he's so full of hope and positive thought. And I think that's what saves him in this book.
And I think the book and this topic most definitely should help spur some discussions cross curriculum curricula here at the university. And here's hoping that the students coming in pick up, read, and enjoy this book and help that culture of reading Troy University is trying to establish. Well,
absolutely.
Thank you for coming and talking to us about the book
pleasure.
today. And thank you, and hopefully students will enjoy it and get a chance to read about something new and something different. Thanks for joining me today.
This will open your eyes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the second week of July 2015. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune in to Troy Trojan Vision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy Trojan Vision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy Trojan Vision News. We close this week's show with a special treat. Some scenes from this year's 4th of July fireworks show presented by the City of Troy. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of Troy Trojan Vision Weekly. Have a good week.